Amara leaned back in her chair at the cafe, stirring her cappuccino as her best friend, Lila, eyed her suspiciously. So, what's the plan this time? Lila smirked, folding her arms across her chest. Amara smiled coyly. What do you mean? Oh, please, Lila laughed. Whenever you're in one of these moods, you get that look. You're planning something. Amara chuckled softly and took a sip of her drink. Okay, fine. You caught me. I may have a date tonight. Lila raised an eyebrow. A date? Or a date? Amara shrugged nonchalantly, but her sly grin gave her away. What can I say? Sometimes a woman just knows what she wants. Lila rolled her eyes but couldn't help smiling. All right, tell me more. Who's the lucky guy? His name's Ethan. Met him at that gallery opening last week. Tall, charming, and you're already planning the seduction, Lila interrupted, laughing. What's your move this time? The red dress? The subtle perfume? Amara leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with mischief. It's not about the dress or the perfume. It's about the vibe. The way you carry yourself, the confidence you exude. A glance here, a touch there. Let him know you're interested without saying a word. Lila shook her head, amused. You make it sound like an art form. Because it is, Amara said, her voice teasing yet serious. Every woman has her own way of expressing what she wants. Some are bold and direct. Others are subtle and mysterious. It's not about a universal move. It's about authenticity. Lila leaned back, thoughtful. You might be onto something. Maybe it's not about what women do, but how we each tap into our own power. Amara smiled. Exactly. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to pick out the perfect lipstick. As Amara left the cafe, Lila watched her go, thinking about her friend's words. Maybe, just maybe, it was time to rediscover her own unique way of expressing what she wanted. Lila sifted through her closet, her fingers brushing past blouses and sweaters she hadn't worn in years. She paused when her hand landed on the dress. It was a sleek, midnight blue number with a plunging neckline and a slit that danced dangerously high on her thigh. She hadn't worn it since her last big night out, years ago, before the routines of work and comfort dulled her boldness. She held it up to herself in the mirror, the fabric shimmering faintly under her bedroom light. Why not? She whispered to herself. An hour later, Lila stood in front of her mirror, transformed. Her usually loose curls were tamed into a sleek ponytail, and a deep red lipstick added a touch of daring to her otherwise soft features. The dress hugged her in all the right places, reminding her of the confident, vibrant woman she used to be. Taking a deep breath, she grabbed her clutch and stepped into the night. The lounge was alive with music and chatter, its golden lights casting a warm glow over the crowd. Lila hadn't been here in years, but something about the familiar hum of energy made her feel at ease. She walked to the bar, her heels clicking against the marble floor, and ordered a glass of Merlot. As she waited, she caught a glimpse of herself in the mirrored backsplash behind the bar. She looked radiant. Beautiful dress, a voice said beside her. She turned to see a man standing there, his dark suit tailored to perfection. He had an easy smile and kind eyes. Thank you, she replied, her tone confident but warm. I'm Daniel, he said, offering his hand. Lila, she said, shaking it. Lila, he repeated, as if tasting the name. Let me guess, you don't come here often? She laughed softly. Not anymore. But tonight I thought, why not? Why not, indeed? His smile widened. So, what brings you here? She hesitated for a moment, then decided to be honest. I think I just needed to remind myself of who I am. Or who I used to be. Daniel tilted his head, intrigued. And what kind of woman is that? The kind who doesn't wait for life to happen to her, Lila said, surprising even herself with the boldness of her words. Daniel raised his glass in a toast. To rediscovery, then. The night unfolded like a scene from a movie. They talked about everything, work, dreams, the books they loved, and the places they wanted to visit. Lila felt a spark she hadn't felt in years, not just because of Daniel, but because she was finally allowing herself to feel again. As the lounge began to wind down, Daniel turned to her, his expression thoughtful. Can I see you again? Lila smiled, her heart racing. I'd like that. Walking home, her heels clicking against the pavement, Lila felt alive. It wasn't just about Daniel or the dress. It was about reclaiming the part of herself she had buried for too long. When she got home, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Amara. Asterisk, how did it feel to tap into your power? Asterisk. Lila grinned, typing back quickly. Asterisk, it felt like coming home. Asterisk. The next morning, sunlight poured into Lila's apartment, casting a golden hue over her cozy living room. She sipped her coffee, replaying the events of the previous night. It wasn't just Daniel, though his warmth and charm had certainly left an impression. It was the way she'd carried herself, the way she had rediscovered her confidence. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. It was Amara. Amara ***. How was the dress? And how was the night? ***. Lila smiled, her thumbs flying over the screen. Lila ***. Both were perfect. I met someone, but more importantly, I felt like myself again. ***. Within seconds, Amara replied. Amara ***. That's my girl. Coffee later to spill everything. Lila ***. Absolutely. That afternoon, Lila and Amara met at their favorite cafe. Amara leaned forward eagerly as Lila recounted the details of her evening. The conversation, the spark, the feeling of liberation. You're glowing, Amara said, smiling. I knew you had it in you. Sometimes all it takes is a little push. It wasn't just the dress or going out, Lila admitted. It was realizing that I don't need to wait for the right moment or the right person to feel alive. I just needed to give myself permission. Amara nodded knowingly. Exactly. That's what I meant when I said it's about authenticity. When you tap into what makes you you, everything else falls into place. They clinked their coffee cups together, a silent toast to empowerment and rediscovery. Over the next few weeks, Lila made small but meaningful changes in her life. She started saying yes to more invitations, took up a salsa class she'd been eyeing for months, and even pitched a bold idea at work that earned her praise from her boss. As for Daniel, he became a regular presence in her life. Their connection deepened with every conversation, every shared moment, but Lila made sure to keep her focus on herself, too. One evening, as she stood in front of her mirror getting ready for another date with Daniel, she caught her reflection and smiled. The woman staring back at her was confident, radiant, and unapologetically herself. For the first time in a long time, Lila felt at peace. A month into their relationship, Lila and Daniel found themselves on a quiet weekend getaway to a small lakeside cabin. It was Daniel's idea, a chance to escape the city and enjoy each other's company without the noise of their usual lives. The cabin was quaint and cozy, with large windows overlooking the still blue water. Lila felt an unfamiliar sense of calm as they settled in. She hadn't taken time for herself like this in years, and Daniel's easygoing nature made it even better. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the lake in shades of gold and orange, they sat on the cabin's porch, sipping wine. "Tell me something about you that I don't know," Daniel said, his voice soft but curious. Lila smiled, staring out at the water. "Something you don't know," she thought for a moment, then glanced at him. "When I was younger, I wanted to be a travel writer. I used to imagine myself exploring the world, meeting new people, writing about the beauty of it all." Daniel leaned back in his chair, intrigued. "Why didn't you?" Lila hesitated. "Life happened. I got a stable job, settled into a routine. And I guess I forgot about those dreams." "Do you miss it?" he asked, his gaze steady. "Sometimes," she admitted. "But lately, I've been feeling like it's not too late to rediscover that part of myself." Daniel reached for her hand, his touch warm and reassuring. "It's never too late, Lila. You still have stories to tell, places to see." His words lingered in her mind as they sat there, watching the stars appear one by one in the darkening sky. The next day, Daniel surprised her with a small leather-bound notebook. "For your adventures," he said with a smile. Lila's heart swelled as she ran her fingers over the cover. "Thank you," she said softly. That weekend became a turning point. Inspired by Daniel's encouragement, Lila began writing again, filling the notebook with thoughts, memories, and plans for the future. Back in the city, Lila decided to take a leap. She submitted a travel essay to an online magazine, something she'd written during their trip. To her surprise and delight, it was accepted. When she told Daniel the news, his face lit up with pride. "I knew you could do it," he said, pulling her into a hug. As her confidence grew, so did her relationship with Daniel. They became partners in every sense, supporting each other's dreams, challenging each other to grow, and building a life together filled with adventure and connection. One evening, as they stood on the balcony of her apartment, looking out at the city lights, Daniel turned to her with a thoughtful expression. "Do you ever feel like life brought us together for a reason?" he asked. Lila smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. Maybe it did. Or maybe we just decided to take a chance on each other. He wrapped an arm around her, pulling her closer. Either way, I'm glad we did.